Well, hello, everybody.
Hi,
Trust you're well. Are you well, Jean?
I am still here.
Good, good, good. Chapter 6, lesson 6, number 3. We are progressing along, almost at the halfway point of the book. It's amazing. So, sickness happens,
Indeed,
not only to the old.
indeed,
Live today. Tomorrow, you might get the diagnosis.
indeed.
Sounds depressing, but it's reality, right?
Yep, the reality, even children die.
Sickness
Reality is we get
happens.
sick.
Yeah.
Yep. So, what does live today mean?
Yeah, well, that's something we've been discussing the whole way through.
So, did I live before I woke up?
Or did you
Yeah, I did.
exist before you woke
I,
up?
I lived, but I was unaware that I was living
Yeah,
because
existed.
because of my suffering that I thought was everybody else's fault.
That's right.
So, did I experience living? Well, I experienced suffering, yes, which was very real. But living is something different.
Mm,
Living is being aware of this moment, enjoying this present moment,
yeah,
enjoying what you're doing, enjoying what you're seeing, enjoying what you're hearing and feeling.
yeah, really amazing.
So people that are sickly from childhood, how do they survive?
Hmm. Well, Buddha said there's 4 things that you can't escape: birth,
True.
sickness,
Yep.
if you're lucky, old age, and
Mm.
death.
Mm.
The 4 unavoidables.
Mm.
And sickness happens. You're a nurse. Obviously, it
Sickness
comes
happens.
up in your experience a lot more than other people's
Yep.
experience.
Sickness happens, and horrible sickness happens to good people.
Yes.
So how do you explain that? There is no explanation. I don't know what the explanation for. Sickness happens. When I'm looking at the world like it is now, I think we've screwed up Earth. I mean, we haven't got a clue what we're putting in our faces.
Yeah.
The tin says this, I don't even know what the ingredients means. I've never seen the English word. And how do I know it's in that tin anyway?
Yeah.
Because the guy in the factory can put what he wants to.
Oh, well, I know so many people that eat the most strict,
Vegan.
not vegan, I mean, just a really good diet, exercise. They do everything by the book,
And they
and
still
then they
get
get
sick.
sick
Yes.
because of the pollution in the air
Yes.
or something else that happens, the fumes of something else. They could have mold in
Yeah.
their house,
Yes,
whatever.
absolutely.
So,
We don't know.
we don't know. It happens.
We don't know. We get sick.
We get sick.
Yes.
And sickness also, from my point of view as a therapist, comes not only from physical stuff. We get sick from emotional stuff. We get
Absolutely.
sick from mental things. So
Absolutely.
when dealing with the disease, we can't only look at the physical. We have to look at the emotional,
No,
mental, spiritual connections with everybody.
people that live in blame mode, victim mode, in the end, that spills over into the physical.
Yes.
I mean, you spend your life anxious about what's going to happen in the next minute, even though you don't know you'll be here in the next minute. And they
Yes.
live in such anxiety that in the end, it is physical.
Yeah.
It becomes a huge physical problem. And the problem with that is, I keep telling people, if you don't live today, I mean, really enjoy today, no matter what it brings you, tomorrow you're going to get the diagnosis and then you want to live. Then you come crying to say, guess what's happened to me? And I'm like,
You got warned.
yeah, you got warned.
So I think a lot of why people can't live is because of their past,
Yes. Back to that
resentment,
wound. Yes.
holding on to things,
Yes.
unforgiveness.
Yes.
Sure.
So forgiving and forgetting comes into that. I mean, you can't forget somebody, and I was taught a long time ago, remember, forgetting is when you remember without any pain.
Ah,
Okay, so you remember stuff, you can't forget stuff.
yes.
If this guy rapes me when I'm 4 and I forgive and forget, this one's going to get me when I'm 6.
Hmm.
So you can't forget. But forgiving is for yourself.
Absolutely.
And how do you forgive something that's so horrible?
Hmm.
Okay. That goes back to living. You won't live unless you do that forgiving.
Hmm.
You will not. Forgiving is, that's what I've said about dog and God. I mean, dogs live in the moment, they forgive and they love. That's all they do, and it's all we call to do.
Yeah.
So the forgiving is the hardest of all of that.
Well, I always tell my clients that you've got a backpack on. and everything and everyone that you have not forgiven, all the
Yes,
stones in the
exactly.
backpack.
Exactly.
Now, when we forgive, we don't absolve them of their
No,
crime or
don't condone
whatever.
what they've done. Not,
Exactly. But we just take that stone out of the backpack. We are not going to hold it.
yes.
It's going to make our journey lighter so that we can live now.
If you really have to go back, go and look at it, but you don't really have to go back.
No, we just have to forgive
Just
it
forgive
and
it
and move
and
on.
leave it. Yes.
Yes. However, what they did and whatever still stays the same.
Yes.
Yeah, we don't have to make it right.
No, and living is interesting. I mean, people seem to apply doing and living. They have to be doing something in order to live.
Mm,
If they're not jollying or eating out or going on holiday. And I suppose that goes back to introverts and extroverts, because introverts don't need to go do all those things, but extroverts do. It's part of
yeah.
their personality. But as long as their happiness or their contentment doesn't come from doing.
I find there's where what I've experienced is there's a fine line between activity always have to be doing something and moving and pushing
Mm.
as opposed to just flowing.
Yes, flowing
And
is different.
that's a very different
Yes, very
energy.
different energy.
I'm still active, I'm still
Yes.
in the process, but I'm just flowing with what life has to offer.
And I guess,
Whereas if I'm doing and forcing and making things happen, it just feels a little bit more like controlled. And
and that's like happiness and contentment.
that's
Happiness for me, short-lived. Contentment goes with that flowing.
that's right, yes.
Yeah, it's interesting.
And then getting in that flow and in sync with the world and
Yes.
ourselves.
So how do you do that? You go home
I
when you
ask
put
you
this
the
vid
question.
when you put this video off now, you make a point to get up tomorrow morning as you wake up out of bed and you choose to do something different.
Yeah.
That's how it starts.
That's how it starts. That's it. You break the old patterns,
Yes.
routines that's
Yes.
keeping you trapped in different
Conscious
routines, different
decision
thinking,
now.
and then you do something completely different.
Yes. And you'd be surprised. You will be surprised.
Mm.
So when you first start doing it, you won't remember it in the next hour. You'll remember it at 6 o'clock in the afternoon. Oh, shucks. But tomorrow it gets easier. And in the end, it's flowing.
Yes, 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 yes. That's amazing, isn't
Because we
it?
do. I mean, they tell me, and I look, I don't, as I said, I don't even believe in stats, but they say 1 in 2 women are presenting with cancers and 1 in 3 men. And most of the men are skin cancers.
Yeah,
So tomorrow you get the diagnosis and start getting chopped up and then you want to live. So don't wait for tomorrow.
absolutely. And it's got nothing to do with the age. Like you
Nothing.
said,
Nothing.
youngsters are getting diseases,
Everywhere.
and so it could happen at any time.
Yes.
So it's point to just the point is to just find a way to live now.
Let go, let go, let go. Yes, I
Mm,
don't know of another way.
mm.
Open your hands and let go.
So we've discussed in the past of life being suffering and hard. Why is it important to live presently, even though it's hard and filled with suffering?
Well, first of all, from an emotional point of view, physical suffering is another thing. As a nurse, I can go down and write 10 books on just physical suffering. Okay.
Yes.
You don't know, want to know what I've seen. But
Okay.
emotional suffering, we can do something about. We can choose another thought. We can choose a different perspective of looking at it.
We can let go.
We
We
can
can
let go.
forgive. We
We
can
can
all,
we can we
yes.
can make we can make a program of that with every footstep and every breath. We
Yeah.
can. So so is that living within the suffering? Yes, it is. But it's still living
Yeah.
because you're aware of why you're suffering.
Mm. I think that also brings a certain kind of joy.
Yes, and joy is like contentment
And
and
that
flowing. Those are
and that's
similar.
it. We enter into a space of joy.
Yes.
And when you're coming from a place of joy and you encounter hardness, suffering, that takes the edge off. It's not as hard. You see it from a
So
different
do you think
perspective.
do you
You
think
see it
joy is
from
a
a
because for
different,
me joy is a mixture of sad and glad, I suppose is the word. It's a mixture of both.
I think for me, I see happiness as temporary because you can
Yeah,
be
happiness
happy
is
and you
temporary.
can be
Your happiness is something completely
yeah, you
different.
can, yeah, that changes so quickly.
Mm.
I think joy comes from an experience of it comes from inside where it's kind of like, okay, even this test,
Even this
even
grief.
this grief, even
Yes,
this experience, I'm grateful for,
yes.
and I can find some
Joy, you can find joy in grief. You
that's
can.
it. And then life becomes completely different, or my outlook of life becomes different.
Your whole perspective. You actually
That's
see the
it.
sky's blue.
That's it, exactly.
Or you even notice there's a sky that you
Yeah.
haven't noticed before.
And then that's that part of that waking up. And part of that waking up is to get into that space of joy,
Yeah.
that appreciation of all without judgment
Yeah.
of the good and the bad.
And the thing is, we can only really talk from ego, don't you think?
Yes,
So
yes,
we have
yes.
to be aware
Because
of that.
if we have no ego, then we have to
Yeah.
talk from silence.
Yeah, the only place to go. No, that's true. Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, we're only
That's
talking
true.
from ego, and even that is the theory concept. So we have to experience these
So I had
things.
butterflies in my garden the other day. Not only
There's lots at the moment, right?
not only the white ones that come from there, but the brown ones and those big black and yellow ones as
Yellow
well.
ones, yes.
And I said to a neighbor, "Have you seen the butterflies?" She said, "What are you talking about?" I'm like,
People don't realize that. You know, I'm constantly.
not
Have you
awake.
seen the full moon? Have you seen this? Have you seen that? And people have no idea. There's
And
no
tomorrow they
concept.
get the diagnosis and they haven't seen that today.
And they
That's what's
haven't
so
even
sad.
realized that. Yeah.
That's very sad for me.
One recognition of when you wake up is definitely you start to notice the world around.
Yes.
You
And
become aware.
you hear the birds.
Yeah.
You can hear the first one making the first sound and you know what's
Yes,
coming next.
exactly.
The other one's saying, "Shut up."
And then they
I'm
have
trying to
this
sleep.
huge conversation, and you try to go, "Oh, I need to sleep."
Yeah, no, exactly. No, it is interesting. You have to become conscious and you have to do that. Nobody else can do that for you.
Hmm.
And perhaps that's where, when people drop down dead around you and when people get sick around you, you suddenly become conscious.
Yeah,
Maybe for the first time in your life.
that's it. But why wait until then? Why not just
I
click?
think your upbringing's got such a lot to do with it. I
Yes.
really do.
So let's just click, wake up, and
Wake up, grow up,
grow
and stop
up,
it.
and start to see that we are so much more
Yes.
than the
Much, much more than
suffering.
this physical body. We are much, much more than this physical body.
Yeah.
It gets old, it falls, it gets sick, it dies. We're much more.
So even though we have to go through all of those, we can still experience it from a different space.
Yes. No, absolutely. And it's wonderful when you do.
And then that's when life becomes a little easier.
Comes life.
That's actually when it becomes real life,
Mm.
full of awareness, full of joy, full of excitement.
Yep.
Eagerly wanting to experience the next,
And to see
good or bad.
And to see the butterfly, yeah.
Good or bad.
Good or
We
bad.
experience it all without a sense of judgment.
Yep.
And that's how we really, really grow and expand. As always, pleasure chatting with you.
Thank you, Michael.
Until next time, everybody.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
Bye.